It's not the left versus the right, it's what is wrong and what is right. We've gotta stand up and fight for our children. The world is paying to be blind, feeding into all the lies. We've gotta open up our eyes and save our children. And save our children. People in power.
I'm on the I'm inside. Are bring my next phone for me and take the glass.
Mr. Singh, are you hearing me? Are you?
Hello? Yeah, you know, join.
Yeah, I was asking your input. That we saw the prime minister made some decisions, and we are facing some criticism from
Yeah,
tutor and different things like that. But at the same time, the decision to protect our students and staff at the school, we have seen a long history of violence and threats against teachers, and it has created a very uncomfortable situation for the staff and students. During the last 10 years, lack of protection, and insecurity. The prime minister's decision to put police officers, which we are dealing with people who are armed. Sometimes you have students may come into school with guns and make the teachers, very uncomfortable by their behavior. So some of these kids are linked with the criminal gangs on the street. So you definitely need the police to be armed and ready, and that's something I have pushed very hard for over the years. That police needs to be in on location, not coming after the fact when there's an incident. And the prime minister paid attention to what we was calling for, and so now we have finally have officers in the school, and we are hoping to see the best that will take place. So what's your input on on views on these things?
sure, guys, but your volume is very, very low. I have to strain on here, try to hear what you're saying. So you've got to up your volume.
Yeah, you hear me a little bit better or no?
No. I can
I
barely
wonder
hear
what's
you.
I wonder what's going on. Okay.
Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Are you hearing me a little bit better?
No, very, very soft.
Yeah, you don't understand what's going on. All right, you can go ahead and meantime I'll try to fix this up.
Okay, well, good night, everyone, and welcome to our channel where you get the latest news on the political front. For those of you who are joining us on the various platforms, we welcome you. And as Gary was mentioning, one of the topics for discussion is that the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, is taking a lot of flack from the opposition and others as well concerning the posting of security officers in the schools.
Police
We
officer.
all know what's been going on in the schools. There has been a lot of misbehavior, a lot of fights, a lot of rivalry among various schools, and a lot of foreign objects, knives, pen knives, ice picks, some cases guns has been smuggled into the classrooms and into the school compound. And that's okay for some people. But for students, the school is supposed to be a learning environment. And when you have this sort of devious behavior going on in a school setting, what do you do? Or tell me what has been done over the past 10 years. That problem has been identified, but tell me what was done? Zero. So now that this incoming government decided to take the bulls by the horns and trying to correct the situation to see if the problem can be corrected, well, she's under a lot of flack for taking the initiative. So you, the people, need to tell us what is the solution. Is she doing
I
the
just
right
check in.
thing?
Are you hearing me clearly now? Are you hearing me better or
No,
no?
no, Gary, very soft still. My
It,
volume is up, so I mean,
maybe by me, your phone. I don't know. Let's see, I
no,
don't know.
my phone. I could try my other phone and see.
Yeah, we'll continue. I'll continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me what needs to be done, because she's trying her utmost. She is trying her utmost to see and to solve the problem, and still having to, you know, undergo all this flack. Now, it's been done for the security and for the safety of the staff, both the teaching and the administrative staff, as well as the students. And I guess an option will be providing a peace of mind for the parents to some extent, knowing that their kids is in a much more safer environment. So with that in mind, I'm not too sure whether we are doing the right thing.
Okay, so you switched device. Are you hearing me better?
Yes.
So it
Very.
was your phone. Okay, so
Let me
how
come
is
out.
that? You hear me good?
Yeah, I'm hearing you good. I switch
Okay.
phone.
Yeah, so it was your device. Yeah.
And my volume is at max in this device. That's the one I use all the time. This is my Trini phone. Anyway, now that the Prime Minister is deciding to, you know, try to solve the problem where all can have a peace of mind, including teachers, administrative staff, students, and parents to a large extent. A lot of people is giving the Honorable Prime Minister flack on this initiative. Now, as I said, this is not a problem that happened this year or last year. It's been going on for the past 10, 15 years, but some attempts were made, at least under the previous UNC regime, to arrest the situation, which to a large extent was subdued. However, in the past 9 to 10 years, the problem has escalated. And very, very little, if any, was done to arrest the situation. So, in fact, it has gotten so much worse than before. The gang rivalry among students from one school against students at another school, interacting with the elements on the outside of the school system. It created a breeding ground for, you know, students graduating to small crimes and petty crimes to higher level crimes, more serious crimes. And one wonders whether that sort of environment is conducive to our, school population. So with that in mind, an initiative was taken. The situation has to be evaluated over time, let's say over the semester initially, or over next semester and over the year accordingly, to find out if the cycle of school violence can be broken and be brought to a minimum, very minimum level, or what's called a tolerance level. So I think the Honorable Prime Minister is taking unnecessary flack for trying to introduce a system which will be better for all concerned, all stakeholders concerned, teachers, staff, students, and parents. So I guess you may find the opposition in the form of the opposition party contradicting this and saying, or the these initiatives, and not ideal for students, but what have they done for their past 9.5 years when they were there?
You know, the way I see it, Mr. Singh, you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So the way I see it is the opposition have no moral authority to criticize or to condemn the prime minister because they was there for 9.5, almost 10 years. And
And
what
did
we
nothing.
saw was the situation getting more worse and more worse and more worse. And
Escalated.
I mean, from I mean, a simple thing is I could not understand in all the a lot of us put the politics and party politics to try to assist this government, and they were so arrogant and proud and presumptuous that they didn't want no advice and suggestion from nobody. And I like to make it very clear that we didn't run for government, and the people didn't come out to support us to maintain the status quo.
Correct.
We didn't do that. It's best we didn't run for government if we have to maintain the status quo. So the prime minister is going up a river against the stream, the flow of the water.
Hmm.
And obviously she's going to face the flack and the criticism. Now she made a decision to support the United States in dealing with the criminals trafficking drugs on through our borders and various countries and to the United States, and that again is facing criticism, and you could see those who are rising up against her demonstrate clearly they are part of the problem and a part of the solution, and
Well,
it
see,
is the genuine cause why we have this situation. That's
right.
that's in my view. That's in my view.
Yes,
And, and I mean, and they're giving away themselves. I mean, nobody has to give them away. They're giving them away themselves, showing clearly they are against any kind of restraint and restrictions on the flow of criminal activity.
well,
So having the police in the school should help greatly and serving as a deterrent. Now what I do ask is that the police conduct themselves in a professional way and carry about their weapon in a safe way, so there is no incident,
yes.
accident or shooting, whether themselves or anybody else, that the parents can rise up and say, those who are looking to make trouble, that you see what we were talking about, and this is not a good idea to have guns in the school. Well, guess what? I don't hear your voice about the kids bringing the guns in the school and threatening the teacher and
Correct.
other weapons, right? But
Correct.
you are more threatened by armed police officer being there to protect both your children and the staff and keep the peace. You know,
And not only that, some of the parents, you give them peace of mind knowing that their children are secured in school. The whole peace of mind aspect for the parent as well. But again, a lot of people don't see it like that. It's for the own security. My only comment on this will be they should have that pool of policemen specifically trained for this, you know, who will be working in the school because
I know they went through some training. They got a speech from uh,
the Minister of
acting
Education.
commissioner also, and even though the commissioner of police also spoke to them, and then you saw the minister of national security speaking to the new batch out there also,
Yes.
and but yes, the conduct, and they will need more training. A few months training is not enough, but they will
Guys,
need more training, and they will gain experience by
yes.
interacting with children and knowing more better what they will what will encounter. So they will get some experience on what they need. What they have to do is not to get involved with the students, keep it professional, maintain the safety with your weapon and the public safety there at the same time, using all caution, you know. Um,
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
correct. Yes, correct. And I agree with that, Gary. But it, you're dealing with children is like a teacher. The teachers have problems dealing with the children. So it takes a unique breed of law enforcement officers to deal with it. So I guess some more training needs to be done to make sure the interaction is as seamless as possible or least disruptive. That you, of course, it should stem the flow of fights and so on in the classroom and what have you. But they should have had a little more training, and also at the end of the semester, the system has to be evaluated to determine whether they were meeting their goals. So, example, if you can compare last year, the first semester in 2024, which is school semester, that is from September to December last year, versus September to December this year, you should see a reduction in the amount of offenses in the school system. And once that is there as evidence from the data, you can see at least is a semblance that this thing is starting to work. And from the next semester, we should see an even greater improvement. So that's how you have to measure this thing over time. I know the tutor president was one of the persons who kicked up against it, like he kicked up against anything that this government is doing, where it involves any sort of security and peace of mind to enhance the school environment and so on. He was even against laptops. Could you imagine that? Well, I've said this before, and let me repeat it again. I don't want to send my kids to that school where he's even teaching. Nothing at all, because he lacks the vision. And I can't understand how can a group of teachers who is supposed to be sensible and reasonable, and I'm sure most of them are, how could they have someone like this elected as the head of the tutor? I don't
Well,
know.
such is the reason why we ended up with the problem that we had, right? We have people that are
Exactly.
self-centered, seeking their own interests.
Correct. On the previous, on the PNM, they can do no wrong. You
And
know,
these group of
Every,
people just want their kids to be ahead of everybody. And we have a prime minister that's seeking all the children interests.
right.
All
It's
right.
not only
She's
UNC supporters, it's everyone else. Lock, stock, and barrel. All schools, all castes, all religion, all ethnicity. Everyone is treated.
she wants to give everybody a chance. She's going to put all the resources necessary to enhance your skills.
And I
You know,
see, at the opening of school this week, just about every single, MP went to visit schools in the areas. I see Khadija, Wayne Sturge, Dr. Dawlat, and what have you, Sichuan, Mr. Gosang. They were going out to the schools to get a few students in their constituencies and so on. So that was very heartwarming to see that for the first time you see so many MPs going out in the schools in their relevant districts to welcome the new batch of students and also the school population at large. So again, you can see the interest that this current government is showing upon the children of the nation in their educational endeavors. So that's a remarkable. This is the first time I've seen something like this. At the first day of the school, you see your representative there. You get the feeling, hey, this thing is serious, man. Let's do our best. A lot of students were given the support.
welcome,
Uh,
Captain Singh. Welcome, Captain
yes,
Singh. Okay, so go ahead, Suma. Yeah.
a lot of them were given the support through vouchers and school books and so on. Private citizens contributed to the opening of school in that way, getting books and so on donated. about or assisting
You do?
the new and incoming students with getting their school supplies. So it was a good effort, not to mention, Gary, not to mention 251 schools were repaired over this holiday, the July, August holiday. And two of this 251, in other words, only and I say only in brackets, only 249 was repaired, but completed. Just two still had some outstanding electrical work to be done. And like the press and everybody else, and the naysayers, they focus on the two while the work is still ongoing. And the contractors have even said at the end of next week, everything should be ready. Just two schools out of 251 had issues that they were not completed on time. This is the first time in history I can remember. And in a July, August, holiday period, was so many schools were tackled and repaired, and so many were brought on time. I could distinctly remember a few years ago the school in Barataria, St. George's College. They spent over $6 million over the holiday period to rectify a flooding problem and electrical problem there. And the minister gave assurance that all will be well when school opens. And the very first week of school, the entire system collapsed again. And she was adamant that everything will be fine. This, that. The whole entire wing was down for over a 3 or 4 month period. So the people who talk has never delivered. They have never delivered that amount of school repairs done in any given year while they were there. Yet they kept on focusing on just two schools that were not completed, and those should have been completed by next week. You know, so this is the tangential issues pertaining to what the present government is facing. They're handling the story, they're doing what's to be done, improving the security, improving the remedial school works as far as the infrastructure, building, and so on goes. All students could ride the bus free once in uniform. They're providing the books and uniforms grant, the various other grants, for economically depressed, that section of the population that's experiencing undue difficulties and so on.
Look at your screen there. Look, the Minister of Education is praised for his Herculean achievement in the school repairs ahead of the start of the new term.
And that was from the MPTA, the National Parent Teachers Association.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. So they focus on so many schools. He was impressed. Basically, the entire population was impressed, not only him alone. So if he's been there long enough, he would have known, and he can tell you. If he is game enough, he can tell you that this is the first time so many schools were attempted and completed. But the focus, as I've said, is in the two other schools whose electrical work was not completed. That is their focus. They did not focus on the 249, but on the two that was not completed. Again, it's showing the biasness that strives for good government. So, I'm very happy and proud that all these ministers and so on were part of the process and the school opening this week.
So you see here Dr. Mulilal saying that the refinery is going to be on track.
Yes, that is very heartening news, very, very heartening news. And I'm sure the evaluation should be completed before year end, whether a decision should be made, sorry, before year end to whether to restart and when sort of time frame and so on for the startup of the new, not the new, but the refurbishment works of the refinery. So I think that comes along nicely because it's going to re-energize the energy sector. It will enhance, more drilling activities going around. And if we have to import oil and refine the oil, we still be, be in a profitable situation rather than what we are experiencing now. The problem is, Gary, the closure of that refinery had a lot to do with the so-called, and I say so-called shortage of foreign exchange. That was one of the prime drivers of foreign exchange.
Well, we all know, based on various reports and people like Vade and others, that and complaints. Major complaints with ordinary citizens in the country. Of the restriction and the hardship to get U.S. currency to support your children overseas or for you to travel. And when you enter any country, they want to say, oh, you can support yourself. You come to the United States with $200.
Correct.
$200 could last one day.
You're lucky by the time you pay a taxi fare and get into check into a hotel or something. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So one wonders where the impact. I think someone should have really done a good economic analysis, the impact analysis of the closure of that refinery and what sort of hardships were brought into the citizenry from the forex point of view, from the employment point of view, and for the social malaise that accrued because of people being thrown off jobs and so on and not able to meet their mortgages for their houses and cars and what have you, or to send their kids to school or overseas education, as the case may be. That's social malaise. I don't think anyone had the guts to do that, And that is what I'm saying. I kept on saying this thing, where is the damn press in all of this? The mass media. Where are they in all of this? So that are in cahoots with the government, or deliberately didn't bother to do any sort of investigative reporting. Or as the Prime Minister said, they had PIP. But I believe in all three. Yeah, all three, they had PIP, That's something I think chickens get. I don't know, not too sure. But it's a chicken disease where they can't feed themselves. Their mouth is closed. Yeah. So this is a scenario. But I'm glad that schools are open. It's open. The new intake of students at the end of this month. The first batch of computers should be on the way to the classroom. And I know there are several schools have been upgraded to accommodate this intake of new students with laptops, meaning that the labs and so on have been refurbished, as well as connectivity has been improved. So for the kids, I think this semester augurs well for them. All kids, not only UNC kids or kids from UNC families are supported. All kids, all kids. I also see the what's the headline? Enough is enough. I did not read that.
Yeah. She's Prime Minister here is defending her position of putting armed officers in the school. She said enough is enough. She put an end to that nonsense.
Yes, and she's in control. She can do what she wants. when Borrelli did what he was doing, nobody questioned it. No, he had everything was positive headlines with Prime Minister like.
Yeah.
His thing was like Prime Minister shows initiative, these things like that. But
So here
don't expect
we have the AG telling us that the Standard Gong legislation is coming.
nice after the Florida
Uh,
model. Yes, good.
you know, well, we will have to tweak it to suit our needs and
Yes,
how,
yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
when people hear Florida, they like to refer to the racist incidents that took place, that some people misunderstood the stand your ground laws, and took it to their own level of understanding and did some
Uh, I
illegal
want,
things.
I
But
want to.
that is not the direction we head in. And in Trinidad, they look for any opportunity to spin race
Well,
into the, especially when there is an Indian prime minister.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
you know,
Suddenly, there's a problem with everything that's being done.
yeah, it doesn't matter
And
how much
nothing.
the government is doing and stuff like that. They don't appreciate that. I remember under the state of emergency last year, last time we were in government, that made it into such a racial thing, and there were people actually in those areas who were saying I could finally sleep at night without gunshots over my head, because the
Yeah.
army and the police were very patrolling very heavily. So we are heading in the right direction, I guess. I mean, we saw the people woke up and they came out in their numbers, especially the young people. We have to give credit to the young people for bringing UNC into government. They were the final stone that completed this election. They were the icing on the cake. The young people. Let's give it this way, in bringing this election into its final victory result. So I must congratulate the young people that came out, said they had
Okay.
enough and they wanted better.
Well,
And
that's
a lot of them were students who got a laptop during when
that's where I was going. That's
yeah.
exactly where. Do you think that laptop project had an impact on what
So
happened
the,
this time
so
around?
the prime minister's laptop students came out in their numbers.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I saw some endorsements from students from university who said that thanks to Auntie Kamla for giving us the laptop. They still use it today after graduating from university. And
Yeah,
they do not know if they would have been able to, or whether their parents would have been able to buy laptops on digital devices for them had
yeah,
it not been for the UNC government. So that is quite an endorsement, you
yeah.
know.
So
So
here we see some work is going to be done at the Navent treatment plant to undergo some repairs. Um, and um, definitely, our government and our Minister of Public Utilities is on the job, working very hard, and trying to bring some results. And, as we always mentioned, there's a lot more to be done. I also appreciate our new team member, Mr. Ken Dalchan, on board with us to assist
yes,
us in in understanding what needs to be done and giving us some direction. He is on board. He's on the move, giving us some assistance already.
but that
So that's
strengthens our team even more to
yeah.
deliver
So I mean, we
where
have civil engineer, we have economists, and bankers. I mean, you
AI
name it.
and
I mean,
data
we
analytics
have Donnie on the agricultural part of things, and Safraz. I'm still waiting on Safraz. He's so busy right now. But definitely, these guys are on board with us to get the
not to
job done in a
mention,
voluntarily way.
right, Gary, not to mention the technology and AI and data side of things as well. So we on
I
the
saw
board.
this. I saw some pictures here. I tried to find it back where they met at Dave Tanku's office with this Anansi
Yeah,
program.
that
And I need
yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah. Anansi is a new AI
yeah,
agent that
yeah,
supports these things. So it's very
yeah,
simple. It's a basic first step, really.
yeah,
It's like, it's like the ABC of AI, really.
yeah,
We had that long time in 2012, 13, 14. We had that same system. Our director ICT, and I could tell you that we had that caravan going from district to district and providing forms for people coming. We had a bus, a roving bus, used to be so that students or anyone trying to download forms and so on to, let's say, your passport forms and what have you, were able to do so. So this was only done when the UNC is there, by the way. You know, it was shelved under the TT Connect. It's called the TT Connect project, but apparently dormant, or it was used in very selective areas. If you understand what I'm saying. So it's nice to know that this project has been resurrected. Students, a number of students, they're trying to see how to download their forms, the various forms. You can even do your renewal, your vehicle licensing renewal, and so on under the ANSI project, or as well as to get your certified copy and what have you. In fact, my plan is to do my passport online with that. I had a look at it, and it's very simple, nice, good start, and we must give the government full credit for getting that initiative going. There's a lot more that needs to be done, but as a first step, it's quite a good initiative. Yeah. One thing that, as we mentioned about the Prime Minister's role on security, I heard it today that, the port of Cedros has seen a sharp drop in the inflow of, well, I don't want to say refugees, but we all know who they are, the Venezuelans coming over. There's been a sharp drop in that area. So one wonders whether the patrolling has increased or whether it's because of the presence of Americans in the waters in the Caribbean, whether that has um, had an impact on the migration of Venezuelans to these shores. I don't know, but for them to say that that report, or to say that there has been a lot less traffic coming in that area. So again, we can speculate what's going on. I'm sure when you combine that with the statistics for the month of August, as far as homicides go, which was 22 homicides for the month of August, one wonders whether that combination of the SOE and heightened police presence, together with the U.S., Southern Fleet, Southern Command in the vicinity of the Caribbean region and Venezuela, is having an impact.
impact. Eh? It is
You know,
having an impact.
it's but why they've been questioned by the opposition that why they're trying to spin this thing in several ways, in whichever way they can spin this thing to show that this is barbaric and inhumane, all in negativeness. So again, when it starts to touch or hit home, that your funding source or resources is drying up, you begin to talk. And now we can see why. Why is the PNM against this type of activity, which the present government is trying so hard with the SOE and the high presence of police and army as and in combination of the Southern Command, once that it can stem the flow of the drugs and illegal activities going on, the PNM says, well, that's bad. That should not be. Hey, come on, tell me where your allegiance is, man. Yeah.
See, well, we're gonna have so government to deport 200 migrants, and I guess those would be people, I guess, in custody, most likely,
Yeah.
because the prime minister is not interfering so far as we know with people who are working and conducting themselves in a decent manner. But we are more focusing on the criminals,
Yeah.
those who decide to come to our country and conduct criminal activities.
But every country in the world is the same thing. You can't go in the US and go in as an illegal immigrant and you know your consequences of doing a crime down there. You know the consequences of that, especially if you're a migrant. You come to my country and trying to destabilize and, you know, get into all sorts of criminal activity. They put you away right away, man.
Well, especially with this Donald Trump administration, you're not going to see that happening.
Well, the plan is to round up everybody and send them back, even people and children who are born in the US. Once you are a naturalized citizen, you're in quote unquote in a question mark status. So
So
people
here,
must be
here
careful
I
on
see, Newsday was asking people to share their pictures of the first day of school, and you could see the happiness, on the children for going back to school, especially knowing the fact that they're going into a safe environment. That's going to be more happy, and there's going to be more things. You're going to get supplies from the government. They have a good staff there that's there to assist you. So I mean, definitely the kids are going to be happy with that.
and I guess with that and all the filling of vacancies, teaching vacancies and so on, should make, a school setting more student friendly, let's put it like that. More student and conducive to learning. That's what a school should be.
Let's see if I can find.
Meant which is conducive to learning. And learning is not only studying, by the way, it's sports and extracurricular activities as well. So
Yeah.
I can't see
And
can't
here I'm
see.
seeing a letter to the editor about Mr. Common Booth and the forex disaster he had created. And apparently, this should be an interesting one,
uh,
where because he's tried to do all kind of song and dance that it didn't exist, and it was it's something we created and we constructed that, and but
well, I am still peeved at the comment made by the current central governor that there is no forex cartel. For him to make a decision like that, I don't know whether we got that data, but I would love to see the data for all this past 10 years or 9 years. Sorry, what does the data show? And I'm sure he just speaking off the top of his head rather than looking at the data and see which company or which conglomerate was bleeding the state and getting all the forex at, in their hands at the expense of the average citizen. Gary, let me tell you something. This, if you look at the data, I'm sure I can put my head on the block and it can show you that if you can get even a little semblance of the data, you can correlate this data to show the closures of X amount of small businesses or during the past 9.5 years were directly related to the non-availability of foreign exchange. So there was a monopolistic tendency. You get rid of the smaller guys, and we, the big guys, the one percenters, will get the access to the foreign exchange, and we'll bring in whatever we wish to bring in. Now, mind you, that is just import export. You see, they ain't creating no new jobs like that, mind you. It's the small businesses are the ones who create the jobs, right? And when you knock off 4,000, from my understanding, it's about 4,000 SMEs who went out of business in Trinidad and Tobago. And that
So,
correlation,
right.
that correlation to show that, hey, those who have been starved of foreign exchange, they were the ones who went out of business. And that is what the data will show. And it will also show that the big conglomerates gobbled up some of the small ones, right? So they became monopolistic. They ran on a monopoly in whatever trading they were doing. So you see, I, for in all my good judgment, I cannot understand how come a central bank governor makes such a statement that there is no cartel. Well, you could call it cartel. You don't have to call it cartel, but it will show the bias that existed among the conglomerates to monopolize the foreign exchange, the access to foreign exchange. You know, but if that is the kind of central bank we have in the island, God help us, you know, we'll just speak at the top of the head without any scientific data or analysis.
Look, we have seen more cover-ups in all sides under the PNM, and I mean we know they have their tentacles still in the system that we have to really cut out. So there's a lot to deal with yet. You know, we just getting started.
Yeah, yes, but we also have to say it as it is, Gary. We
Definitely,
can,
I have no problem doing that. Yeah, especially on from this end. You know,
yes.
we
No, we have to say what the right will always be right and wrong will always be wrong.
yeah.
No, if you say something, please tell me it with data. Have the data to substantiate what are you saying. You know, that's all. That's all that matters. The data doesn't lie. So you may wish to spin it as a politician. Yes, that's your prerogative. If that's what is meant by a politician, they can spin it. But the data don't lie, and then let the people judge. You know, because my understanding is still the same thing. Trend is happening. You can't get more than $200 for the week if you intend to travel. And my friend is traveling in the month of October. He went last week to get foreign exchange. Had to get a return ticket and what have you. And why? Why is a lot of questioning? You
So
know.
here we have our prime minister, you know, acknowledging the September 11 attack on and
Yeah.
recognizing the anniversary of the attack in New
Yes.
York in September 2011, and she
Yes.
have sent her, you know, her remembrance statement, you know,
Yeah.
and
9/11, man.
that was a horrific thing, you know,
I was
and
there. I
I mean,
was there. I was there in the U.S. I can tell you
yeah,
what.
I mean, we literally saw people falling off the buildings, and that was not something nice, you know, to see at all.
Oh,
And we still have people suffering up to this day
oh
from either
yeah.
the cleanup or something, you know.
The ground zero, as they call it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Whether you're involved in the construction or actually involved in the actual incident, there's a lot of suffering. And tomorrow
And
will make it 24 years.
I really, one thing that struck me more than anything else are the firemen, the first responders there. Gary, I don't know if that you got to look up that incident where people know the first responders who, when they were people evacuating the building and jumping off the floors and so on, these guys were running into the building. Can you imagine that? The firefighters and they were running into the building. Eh? You
Yep.
running into the building when you're telling everybody to get out.
Yeah.
So that was an act of courage more than bravery. Boy, that's I don't know how many people have
And a lot of them lost their lives, and a lot of them,
the
nobody
fortitude.
expected the building to crumble as it did.
Yeah.
It was designed not to crumble like that. So, however, this explosion took place. It seems to be done with some kind of precision to bring
Mm-hmm.
down that building, because that building was not normally supposed to come down the way it did.
Yeah.
So who knows what were the ingredients really involved there. So,
And
but we have to um, we have to organize ourselves in responding to any catastrophe that's within our country, and that's where our former CEO comes in there, Dr. Ramrup,
correct, correct.
in leading that aspect of things. We must focus on organizing ourselves, with
But
safety and things like that.
but you can only implement those things is when those at the higher level recognize the importance of of first responders in natural disasters and disaster preparedness as it's because I hope we don't end up fighting to fight.
I think your internet froze there, Mr. Singh. I don't know what's going on. Um, yeah, so we lost Mr. Singh there for a little bit. Just stand by while I try to get him back. Yes, folks. So while I try to get back Mr. Singh here, just hold tight for a few minutes. We're gonna bring him back into the fray here and conversation. Let's see here. So, Lindsay, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. Let me see if anybody else. Let's see what Lindsay's saying here. Majority from the ground are listening to the government and the vision of Mrs. Kamala Prasad Visesa. Some reporters from Trinidad are not coming to the ground like I am facing the weather. These reporters only like the gym. Yeah, you're back in. Yeah. So we have our friend here, Lindsay Hero. So we want to thank Lindsay for joining us. Lindsay, I'd like to add you to the program one day, man. Let me know when you can join us, so you can get an opportunity to voice your
Where
opinion and views.
is Lindsay from the Faisabad area by chance?
Lindsay, are you from Faisabad? Mr. Singh is trying to find out that, Mr. Lindsay. Are you from Faisabad?
Okay, I think I know the gentleman.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he didn't respond yet, so I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, I think Mr. Singh, we can wrap up things here pretty much. I thought Dr. Amrup was coming, but he seems to be pretty busy. So
Yes, cricket on too. That's why.
right.
Yeah, the Ghana and Antigua game is going on. So and then Trinidad is playing over the weekend, Friday, I think. So
So
don't
I
do
see.
don't do anything on Friday.
Yeah, I saw our prime minister had some conversation with, I believe, the vice secretary for defense, and also I saw Rat Maharaj giving his support there. We also saw that our prime minister will be heading to the UN, and that should be an interesting one.
Yes, yes.
I
And
saw she was criticized by Amory Brown for
correct,
not going to the
correct, correct.
African CARICOM thing. Everything is a race with these people,
Yes, yes.
and I mean, it's pretty obvious that they have to make a racial thing out of everything, and I mean, they that alone,
Right.
exposes them again. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to create a division between Afro-Trinis and Indo-Trinis into bringing up the government for their own greed. And
Yes, correct.
they have no shame with what they have done to Trinidad and Tobago and to people and how many people they have caused to suffer.
And
And
that is a trend in there. You
yeah,
remember they were questioning what did Modi, what can Modi give us?
yeah,
Modi, well, this week he's given us the 800 artificial legs is coming in this week.
right,
This week, 800 artificial legs.
yeah,
So, but they will not highlight, they will not think about the newspapers may not carry that at all. So,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
but that's
we
true. They are true to form in their racial thinking. So you know, let them be judged by that yardstick. Yeah. The same happens every year with the examination results and so on. It's the same thing. So let them that
well, I have heard of so many incidents of deliberate interference with when back in the day was the common entrance and today's
yeah, no,
SCA.
yeah. But no,
And in fact,
currently,
there were interference with the results to make one student, look like he did good or whatever it is, and try to place him on, among the other students, adjusting the grades and the kind of stuff. There was
yeah,
so many.
yes, yes. I was working in the ministry at that time, so I know the whole story there.
Yeah, but there was a recent incident a few years ago after you left there. But we had people in the who worked in the ministry that told us quite a bit of things that went on there. You know, and for the hell of me, I cannot understand why you would put children so far away from them home. We had
Mhm.
our friend there, now
Yes,
facing a situation where he lived in one area and they put his young child. I mean,
Marbella.
yeah, yeah, and so I mean,
Poor guy
and
is
there's
not even working to sustain himself, much
yeah,
less.
so, and trying to hustle a job out there. How he's going to do that? So anyway, so there
But
was no consideration in the way that things going. But I'll talk to you off air about some things.
okay,
So we
so
have that Diwali program that we're planning that needs support for Toko Sandy Grande, and we're doing some other things for Toko Sandy Grande because the
yes,
MP has
yes,
accepted our support and help. And if there's any other
yes.
MP out there who would like our team to assist, we are here to assist as best as we can. We have a full fledged of technocrats who are highly experienced.
So
Except
the government,
myself, I am only experienced in common
guys,
sense.
be careful when you're using that word, because the ministries, I say ministries plural, also have a lot of technocrats.
Well,
But they are not they are the non-achieving types.
well, our technical team will advise that technical team, and
Yeah,
so we are
as
here
far as
to
implementation and
support
as far as
the technocrats,
we
and make
support
sure that the job
the
gets
existing technicals. Okay,
done.
that's a good way to put it. That our technocrats will be advising the existing technocrats in the ministries as to how to proceed in
Yeah,
delivering.
the non-paid technocrats will assist the paid technocrats on how to get the job. done, right?
How to get the job
Yes,
done and
and the
how to.
unpaid technocrats will advise and support the paid technocrats on how to get the job done. We have a very how to say
Core and
capable,
comprehensive team covering all
yeah, that is
aspects of
highly
good
competent in
government.
getting the job done. And
Yes.
I will send you some stuff that our engineer referred to. That's going to be
Yeah.
assisting us at no cost. At no
Well,
cost.
all of our technicals are of no cost to the
Yeah,
government.
but I was very happy to see that this engineer came on board, and he has a current business that's going, that he has to attend to, and still taking time, to assist
Mhm.
us, and he's willing to do more than some people would imagine. So he's on board. So I want to say
Well,
thanks
that's
to
nice,
Mr.
Guy. But a lot of us are willing to give back, voluntarily. If
Yeah,
given the right chance to do things, we can have
yeah.
expedite the deliverables, man.
But remember, how to say, we are threatening the tooth of those who are not performing. you know, because they were
Well,
part of that
well,
non-performing government, and
well,
they were
by the,
placed there by that non-performing system of putting
so, but
people because of party affiliation and whatever it may be. And listen, we have not changed government to maintain the status quo, and I would not tolerate that. I'm hearing a lot of things, and we
so
will talk about that, you know, at a later
so
date.
what are you saying that this government is still rewarding them for their non-performance?
No, no, no. I'm saying that we change government to how to
Make
say, to
make
change the
things
status quo.
better.
That's what the people wanted,
Right.
right? So
Yes.
anybody who trying to obstruct this government, whether it's a PS or civil servant, we will call you out. As long as we get that information, we will call you out for obstructing the government, and we will let the voters know. We will let the voters know
So
that
that
they
is
obstructing the
that
government. We're
that
not going to allow them to slide to obstruct the government. So as
well,
soon as we get that information, we're going to call you out.
that comes a very important question: the communication um, mechanisms of the current UNC government.
Yeah.
How are we going to get that message out to the public to show this person or that person, so on their
Well, the
level of
minute that information
non-performance?
comes to us, we're going to call them out. We're
We
going to call
have
them
to.
out.
We have to.
I am not
That
going to
is
sit by
speaking
idly and let I'm afraid to say with anybody that is obstructing our government. Anybody who tries to ambush our government, I will call them out. Anybody who tries to ambush our prime minister, I'm going to call them out. You know,
quite correct. And that is where it should be. We should not
yeah,
be
so,
constrained by any sort of, you know, we say it as it is.
yeah.
Yeah, quite right. And that's a nice approach, and we should be all on board in that aspect of
Listen,
the
like I said, we are here to support the prime minister and her government. We're here to support the fight. We are here to support the upgradement of TNT. We are here to support the how to say, the improvement in service delivery. And we didn't come here to play mass and dance and fit. We came here to work and get things done, and we will fit at the end of the day.
and
But we will fit when the job is getting done.
the
But
and
like I say,
the
we, we,
PNM,
we
the PM, the Prime Minister made that abundantly clear that is the way it should be.
right. So I mean, she's very serious about getting the job done, and we can't, underestimate her, and what she intends to do. So, full support to our Prime Minister. I wish her
All the best,
all the best
best. Yes,
coming to the UN. I know she will make an impact. She made a very solid impact the last time she was
oh
the Prime
yeah.
Minister.
You know, the last time she was the guy from South Korea, he was the president, Bang Ki-yoon, I think is
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name, when she was one of the first people in the Western Hemisphere who had that initiative, laptops for children.
Yeah.
They commended her on that. That the
In
president.
America, as great as they didn't have that, and up to now don't have that.
I know, I know. When I tell some of the professors there that we had this laptop initiative way back in 2010, they
Yeah.
what? They are all in shock. I told them I was the one who did the project and so on. So
Yeah.
that was a well conceived idea, and she did get a lot of high prestige fame for doing that. So again, I know she'll make a good impact in New York.
Yeah, it's
Ashford
going to be
was
an explosive
wondering,
one.
Mr. Maraj was wondering whether he citizens will be invited to meet and greet her.
Well, there was a
She did it.
couple.
She did it last
Last
time.
time
Eh?
we did, and they were secluded who can very selective and who could meet the PM and who could have an audience with her. So let's see what happened. I discussed a few things with some people in trying to put something together, and let's see what her schedule is. If she's able to accommodate, she might have a very tight schedule and may not have time this time. The last time it took 4 years before she can actually have accommodate us with a planned event. So
Yeah,
this will be a very may
you
not be
have to work.
possible this time. It'll have to be next time, or let's see how it goes. But
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
ready to hear the support. As much as we can, and let's see where
The
his head's at.
the THE chief secretary had his one last week, Tobago Day in New York.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah,
entourage from Tobago went up again to liaise with the diaspora.
right.
So that was good from their perspective. I
Well,
know that
let's see. Let's see what what the plans are, how things work out, and we will do the best we can. On this end, when you're in government, other people just want to take over. So
and
so,
then
but
this is a bad time for her to really be. This is her first trip after 4 months in
yeah,
government.
yeah. I don't know how tight her schedule will be, so I am not.
And one wonders, with the election, with the budget, um, the budget has to be, presented at the end of the month or first week in October. That will be
Yeah,
consuming a lot of time among all the
yeah.
MPs and so on. So the timing may just not be right for her to spend any lengthy time out of the country.
9/11, no dog.
You know. So let's see how it goes. We'll chat again, maybe sometime.
Yeah, so
Over the
let me see what I can get scheduled. I'm still trying to get back this guy to come back here to talk about the farmers situation
Yes,
in
yes,
Tocos Valley
yes.
Grande. He was having some
Super
technical
Valley.
problem using the link. So
Right.
I did ask Cliff to assist him, and I asked him to link with Cliff. So let's see how that takes place.
Nice.
Seeing the person here, Kevin. I don't know what you mean by anyway. So yeah.
Well,
So
we'll catch up on,
yeah.
later
So
on.
I got a
And
few
let's
things I'll
see.
discuss with you. Off
Yeah.
air. All right. So good night,
John,
everybody. Thank you for taking the time joining us.
take care all.